And you'll be.
I remember the word. I don't know why I always seem to forget that.
Let's make people to warm up, don't worry.
We'll just put out some.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, it is 6:35. We will begin our meeting. Thank you. This is the Horupa Area Recreation and Parks District meeting. Date today is May the 12th. My name is Rebecca Byrne and I am the president. I will be asking Kim Johnson to assist me. I had announced the last meeting and I'll announce it again. To those people that have sent me well wishes, I have been dealing with vision problems and I have one more treatment, so I'll go forward and continue to do my job as best I can. But we welcome our visitors. We certainly are joyful to see you all. So having said that, may I pass this to you, Ms. Johnson?
Thank you, Ms. Byrne. Next is our pledge to the flag, and that will be led by Mr. Godinez.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just do the roll call.
Yes, roll call. Kim Jo Johnson,
Here.
Division 1.
Here.
Jose Luis Godinez, Division 2.
Present.
Rebecca Redorte Byrne, Division 3.
Present.
Edgar Castellon, Division 4.
Present.
Ross Leisha, Division 5.
Here.
Next, Mr. Dubois, do we have any presentations or recognitions?
None.
Item number 2, okay. Next is item number 3, public comments, and I actually have something. Okay, I'm seeing that no one put item numbers on here, so I'll presume that these are all for public comments. I just remind everyone that it is a 3-minute time limit for public comments, and if you could do them from the podium so we know who's commenting at that time, I'd appreciate it. So I'll start with Armando Carmona.
Thank you. Good evening. And I'd like to request an extra minute, if possible, from the board, because I'm going to be speaking in 2 languages.
Oh, all right, thank you. I think
If somebody's willing to donate your time, that would be acceptable.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll donate mine.
Okay, do you have a slip in?
I do.
Okay, so when we come to that one, you'll just let me know. Okay. You've donated your time to him. Thank you. Go ahead.
Gracias. Bueno, primeramente, yo soy Armando Carmona de Miraloma y les quería contar que después de la reunión de la semana pasada, mi esposa le preguntó al señor Colby cuánto tiempo en avanzado le podemos contactar para poder tener traducción e interpretación disponible en esta reunión. Él nos dijo que legalmente no tiene el requisito de proveer traducción o interpretación a nuestra comunidad. Esto es un problema y es un problema muy grave que aborda la discriminación a más de 60% de nuestra comunidad que habla español en sus casas. Y les quería decir directamente a ustedes como la mesa directiva que esto es un insulto a nuestra comunidad y no lo vamos a aceptar. And if you didn't understand what I just said, then this proves my point. At the last GRPD meeting, my wife asked Colby how far in advance we need to let him know to be able to provide translation. And his response was that he wasn't legally required to provide translation for our community at these meetings. And it may be true, but I'm noticing a pattern in practice being developed here where Colby is saying that he's not required to do certain things that service our community. If what is legally required was the standard for public service, imagine how little would get done. And imagine how slowly it would happen. And imagine all the things that would be lost and wouldn't happen at all because it wasn't ever required. And this is not just about translation, and it's nothing personal. It's about meeting the needs of our community in a very fair way. I'm tired of having to justify why it's important to treat people fairly and why it's important to be receptive to the different needs across a very diverse community. Now I want to get to my ask because I still think there's a lot that this board and the JRPD and our staff can do to fully engage our community. First of all, I want to request a revision to the information that is publicly available regarding the Rick Thompson Arena and try to do everything possible to facilitate access to all people. I know that arena hasn't been used for some time and isn't used regularly. I've spoken to arena folks, staff in Norco and others, and they're booked for months in advance. And so I would like a revision to the information we have publicly available and the information that's provided. And I have a list of bullet points that could be useful for that revision. Secondly, I want to request that the board president and the board of directors create a plan to establish 2 parks in Mira Loma, as well as a horse arena by designating AB 1600 funds. And I would like to request that this plan be created and presented to the public within the next 6 months. It's only one of the areas in Jurupa Valley that have 0 parks. And it's a basic foundational service that this department provides, but is currently not providing to the community of Mira Loma. We've been told to walk around in our own large properties. We've been told that there's no money. We've been told that there are already parks there when there really isn't. If it was legally required, if being legally required was the standard, we'd never have a park in Mira Loma. You all here know how important parks are for our friends, for our families, for our community. That's why you're here. That's why you do this important work. And you understand the value it has for family, for kids. And all we're asking for is to extend that opportunity to our community in Mira Loma. Thank you very much.
Next is Renee. I have 2 comments that come in.
Tell me when to start, guys. When my 3 minutes go.
Hold on, I am sending it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go ahead and start.
Okay. First, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for, just thank you. Ditto on everything that Armando said. I am back him 100% in there because he is our voice. He's not guiding us. He's not directing us. Everything that has happened up to this point has happened for a reason. Every bit of it. My meeting of Armando, and actually my first meeting with you, Colby. I met you. Now I didn't know in the beginning where you were, but when I went down at 10:30 at night I was home, I was upset watching it online because of what this builder was saying. I couldn't take it anymore. I threw my clothes on, headed down to the board, and I met these 2 men outside. One of them introduced himself. You can see him, kind of city slicker looking guy, and said, hi, I'm the evil builder. That's what he introduced himself. And Colby was standing there and they were discussing things. I will just tell you at this moment right now, that wasn't an accident. We were supposed to meet. Little did we know later down the road. But that handshake I gave him, and when I shook his hand and I showed my muscles, I said, this is a farm hand. This is a hand. These are the hands that were raised out here. I know gardening. I know all of these things that I was raised with. What you see now is nothing more than generations of family that has been put into us over and over again. We're good stock. So Colby, however you dealt with that guy in the field, I know you head up the Parks and Rec, but that project on Paradise Knolls, they lost their land. They're not having animals. All of these things that are going on, I just seen, and anybody that's involved in that main decisions, guys, we're just asking for our piece of the pie. That's it. There is no pie for us. And yeah, I take offense too. You know what? I have 1.5 acres, almost 2 acres. My mom used to walk to the top of the hill when she couldn't take it anymore because of pressures in her life and cry. I look at that land as sacred. I walk to the top of the hill and I think, just thank my mom, I thank my grandmother. Our roots run deep. And guys, we're here, either work with us. That is the same message we've said over and over again, together, together, together. If you choose to deviate, so be it. But we're not gonna go, we're not gonna go. I mean, if I am the last person standing and I'm knocking on doors, which we are, we'll just keep going because it's only fair. Everything that we said is fair and right and just, okay? That's exactly it. So I agree. I want to see the budget. I want to see the $5.3 million. I want our part. We want 2 arenas or two parks and a horse arena. There literally is nothing, guys. And you want to know something? When people ask us, what are you guys doing out there? We have literally the best neighborly neighborhood. So there it is. Thank you.
¿Puedes traducir?
Claro que sí. Pero digo todo en español primero y luego en español.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por permitirme estar aquí. Si yo solamente vengo a... Necesitamos un parque, 2 parques en Miraloma. Y no quiero decir tanto, pero solamente yo hace de la 6/1 del 2020 construí una casa. Aquí está todo. Y les dije que sí, porque yo pagaba parque 9,504 si no tenemos parque. La persona que me atendió aquí dijo, no me importa, tú pagas parque, ve a China, ve a Texas, ve donde sea, no me importa, tú pagas parque. Eso es para aquí, eso no importa. Es mucho dinero lo que se paga, voy a construir otra casa, se va a pagar parque. Todo ese dinero, entonces es mucho dinero, no tenemos parque, es la única ciudad que no tenemos parque. Estamos fuera de todo. Solamente quiero saber dónde está todo ese dinero que estamos pagando. Dicen, hablé ahora, que ese dinero es para arreglar, limpiar, grafitis, todo eso, no se hace nada. Si miramos parte, no van a limpiar. Está igual. Gracias por su tiempo.
So just to translate briefly, he says, my name is Juan Hernandez, long time, been living in Miraloma for many years. He owns several homes. In June of 2020, he built a home in Miraloma, and he paid $9,500 to Parks, to JRPD, and he has the receipt here, $9,500. He asked, where is this money going to if we don't have parks in Miraloma? And they told him, it doesn't matter. You could go anywhere. You could go to China. You could go to any Texas. But this money is for the city. Is for parks. He's been wondering for many years, where is this money going to if we don't have a park in Miraloma, right? It's going to everything else, but this is one of the communities that doesn't have one. And so he'd like to see the 2 parks be established in Miraloma.
Deanna Cotter. Deanna Cotter.
So I'm gonna give my time. You gave your, is that you?
I know, no,
It's
her.
I'm gonna give my time to her. She's
Oh.
giving it to,
Well, you just need 1 minute.
I'll just-
well, I actually gave you 6 minutes, so you've got 3.
It's okay.
So you've got 3.
We'll just say that Deanna gave her time to Armando and then.
Didn't sign up. I can go like this. Hi, good evening.
Oh, you did? We have your card?
Yes, you do.
Okay, and
What is your name?
Daniela Zaragoza. I'm probably the last one.
oh, here it is.
Yeah, okay. So you let me know when you're ready.
You start and then I'll.
Okay. Hi, good evening. My name is Daniela Zaragoza. I'm 29 years old. I was born, raised, and currently live in Miraloma. As you know, we are requesting 2 parks in our historic town, Miraloma. One thing that I never got to experience is the enjoyment of going to a park in my own town. Unfortunately then, most of our community was silent. and not many of us knew that there are funds allocated for parks. Now, we are not silenced. We come together to ask, where are our parks? I like to call myself a Mariloma native since I've lived here my whole life. I now have a son and would love for him to experience going to a park in his own town. It is unnecessary to venture to neighboring cities' parks when we have more than enough space and resources to have our own. It's time for the fruit of our labor to be enjoyed. As homeowners, we pay our property taxes, which also include park taxes. We pay our dues. We want better for our children, better for ourselves, and the future of Mariloma. Thank you.
Joanna Diaz.
Oh, I am gonna go up.
Okay.
Hi, well, good evening to everyone. This is actually my very first meeting, here supporting the community of Mariloma. We moved to Mariloma when I was 6, 7 years old. I moved away from Mariloma when I was about 24, 25, but yet Mariloma is still my home. My parents still live here, my brothers, my sisters, and my children are growing here with my nieces and nephews. So I'm nervous, sorry. When I was a kid, I was telling my brother, I remember we didn't have no parks. What we did is we played outside in the street. A lot of, the parents here remember it was a lot of children we used to get together. And we were running the risk of getting run over. We didn't have the stop sign on 4th, 48th, and Dodge Street. Luckily, thanks to this group, there is a stop sign now on Dodge and 48th. So, there shouldn't be a reason why there is no parks for the children of Mariloma to go and play with no, running the risk of ever getting ran over. So I stand here as support to the community of Mariloma. I call it my second home, so I would love to bring my own children if we can get a park to parks. Thank you.
Hey, Martinez.
I don't want to say too much, but I'm gonna just asking for a park for the kids because don't let it go with the gangs or getting in the trucks. And I believe the parks are really important for everybody, for the fathers and the kids.
That's right.
Louise Diaz.
Yeah. Everybody. Basically, all I want to say, you guys know me, I was here last time, right? Was born in America, born here, raised in Mariloma on 48th Street. I just want to tell you guys, man, you guys can be our superheroes. You guys can make this happen for us in Mariloma. Kobe, let's work together, man. Help us out, man. We want 2 parks. We want our kids. I want my kids, man, to have a place where to go and play. And it's possible, 5.3 mil, I could get us somewhere, get us started, get us on the right path. So I just want to ask you guys, help us out, man. We're a community, we're family. Look at us. This ain't nothing, we're much more. And we're just growing, we're gonna grow big. We're adopting a trail on Bain. We want to make things happen. We want our community to be better. We want historic Mariloma to be known for who we are, for a humble place. That's what we are in Mariloma. And man, it's up to you guys. Work with us, help us out. Like I said, be a superhero to us. God bless you guys. Thank you.
We also got 2 comments online, and I will go ahead and read those out loud into the record. The first one is from Chris Brajas, the Jurupa AYSO Regional Commissioner. He's also online listening to the meeting. Hello, JARPD directors and staff. As the Regional Commissioner of Jurupa AYSO, I wanted to express my gratitude for your continued commitment to providing all the youth leagues with quality fields and services. I also want to commend the board and staff for continuously looking for ways to improve all parks. A great example of this is the turf tank, which Haruba AYSO is excited to see start of its use this fall. The Haruba AYSO board looks forward to our continued partnership and continuing to provide the quality soccer program for all of our children. And the next one is not signed from any particular person. It just says residents, homeowners, farmers, and rancheros of historic Mara Loma. It says, dear JARPD directors and staff, we are a group representing historic Mara Loma. We'd like to request that the AB 1600 funds that almost to nearly $5.3 million be used to identify, establish, and develop at least 2 parks in Mara Loma, specifically between Etiwanda, Belgrade, Limonite, and Bain, along with a horse arena between Etiwanda and Van Buren. For many years, residents of Mara Loma, hey, folks, if we could not speak since we're having a meeting here, thank you very much. For many years, residents of Mara Loma have been told that there is no funding for parks in this area, that we don't pay enough taxes and their lots are so big we have enough space to walk around without a need for Mara Loma specific parks. These comments are offensive and hurtful. Also, while Big League Dreams is nearby, that is a privatized park that is inaccessible to all families and kids in our community. Parks should be free, open, and accessible to everyone. The fact is that Mara Loma between Etiwanda, Belgrade, Lyman, and Bain Street has 0 public parks. JARPD directors know how important parks are for kids and families. During the April 28th, 2022 JARPD Board of Directors meeting, many of you acknowledge how underserved Mara Loma is. This is an opportunity to provide a basic foundational service that's been continuously neglected from our community for years. We would like to make an official request that the Board of Directors direct staff to begin this process immediately and ensure that a plan to establish 2 parks and a horse arena in Mara Loma be developed within the next 6 months. This process should involve extensive community input. It should be responsive to the needs of the local equestrian community and understand the unique aspects of Charo and Escaramuza disciplines that are prevalent and active locally. The Harupa Valley 2017 General Plan designates this area as part of the equestrian protected overlay, lifestyle overlay, and it is necessary to have the infrastructure to fulfill these commitments. We thank you for your time and look forward to a productive dynamic in the establishment of these essential spaces for our community. Thank you very much. Are there any other comments? Are there any other, anyone else wanting to make comments? If so, please fill out a card and, okay, seeing no one else, we will go on to we'll go on to our consent calendar. Were there any questions about the consent calendar?
Madam Vice President, I just want to make a quick correction if I can on 4.1. For Indiana's comments here, it said it says I would like it to be an equestrian element. I think you should like it to have an equestrian. I think that's just a misprint. I like to have that corrected.
Are there any other questions or comments on anything else on the consent? Okay, can I have someone give us a motion?
I make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please.
I will need to do
A roll call because of this.
because of.
Okay, very good.
So roll call of Ross Leisha,
Yes.
Edgar Castellan,
Yes.
Jose Luis Godinez,
Yes.
Rebecca Rodorki-Byrne,
Yes.
Kim Jo Johnson.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Next is board action items. The first item, 5.1, adoption of the resolution of intention of the Board of Directors of Harupa Area Recreation Park District for annexation number 30 to its Community Facilities District number 2016-1. Mr. DeWitt?
Yes, thank you, Madam Vice President. This is the annexation of 30, correct?
Yes.
Yes, number 30 of CFD 2016-1. This is a development in the Rubidoux area of 24 homes. I'm pulling up the map here on the screen here. North of Mission Boulevard, bordered by Avalon Street. This is a small infill project. I said 24 homes that's coming in. And this is the first step in the annexation of these homes into CFD 2016-1. And Ms. Gruber is on the phone or on the line available. Should you have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions about this?
No.
Anyone? No? Okay, I have a motion, please.
Sure. I move the Board of Directors approve and adopt the submitted resolution of intention number 2022-19 for annexation number 30 to CFD number 2016-1.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? No? Okay, roll call.
Ross Leisha,
Yes.
Edgar Castellan,
Yes.
Jose Luis Godinez.
Yes.
Rebecca Redondo-Burn.
Yes.
Kim Chow Johnson.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Next is item 5.2, which is a workshop concerning the Eddie D. Smith Senior Center operations. Mr. DeGwitt?
Yes, thank you. As the board is aware, during the pandemic, the district opened Skyview Event Center. We acquired the Ranch Rupa Regional Sports Park from the Riverside County, and we entered into an operational agreement with the city of Rupa Valley for the Eddie D. Smith Senior Center. And this is the second in a series of presentations on those facilities and where we're at. With that, I prepared a presentation for us to go over some of the stuff here, and you have in front of you some financial records as well in regards to that facility specifically. So give me a second here. So as you know, we do require memberships at the Eddie D. Smith Senior Center. They are free. That's primarily just for emergency contact information in relation to the facility, the activities of the facility. Membership gives you access to all facilities and classes. There are some fees associated with some of the classes, primarily just supply fees or minor instructor fees. As of May 1st, we have 449 active memberships. And as you recall, even though we entered into this agreement in July of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, it did not reopen to the public until July of 22. So it's 21, you're right. I haven't had July of 22 yet. So it's been not quite a year that it's been open to the public. So that's what phenomenal numbers that are attending that. This is a facility that through our operational agreement, the city subsidizes most of the operational costs of the facility. One of the biggest things that happens there is our senior nutrition program. Right now, we're serving about 50 meals a day. Pre-pandemic, it was closer to about 70. We are still having new people come in every day back to the center that have been absent. So this number is growing monthly. There is a donation for the meals. I believe it is $3, but again, it's only a donation. If somebody's unable to pay, they are not turned away. And this is something that is provided by FSA, Family Services Association, under contract with Riverside County Office on Aging. So this is actually a federally funded program that is administered by Riverside County. And this happens at most senior centers within the county. A list of programs and activities that take place at the facility. Obviously, the pool room is one of the biggest draws, and those pool tables were just refelted within the last week here. Canasta, I don't know what Monday class is, I'm sorry. Ceramics, painting, sewing, quilting, stretch and flex, watercolor, wreath, Zumba, Mexican train. These are all activities go out throughout the week and various number of people participating in them. The ceramics class is phenomenal. Some of the different things that the sculptures and stuff that the talents that these individuals have is phenomenal. The wreath class is taught by one of the seniors, and they do a different wreath every month or every other month, and it's based on the holiday coming up. So they had them for Valentine's Day, Easter, and they make them and they hang them on the walls. And there's actually a couple on the walls at City Hall because we have so many hanging around the senior center now that we have a room of space there for the ones that don't want to take them home. And again, most of these classes are free. The wreath class is a small donation to cover the cost of the materials associated with it. And then obviously with the like the ceramics class to cover the cost of the clay. But the firing of the kiln that's there at the facility, there's no charge for any of that type of stuff. Food distribution, upcoming events. We had a Mother's Day tea that was this past Monday. If you're following us on social media, saw a lot of pictures from there. It was a great turnout. The seniors loved it. They did play some bingo for some prizes for the mothers. It was a great event. Saturday, May 21st, there is a 70s dance sponsored by the Lions Club. If you haven't been one of the dances, the senior center, you swing by. They really know how to have a good time. They do a monthly movie day and just various movies they play throughout the day. We have a lot of mental health workshops that are work in conjunction with Riverside County Office on Aging, as well as the Community Health Foundation. One of the new programs we have coming on is through Riverside Community Health Foundation. It's an aging masterly program. giving skills to seniors on, as they're growing older, and different skills that they may need and how to deal with the things around them that are changing. We have a Father's Day barbecue, cheer volleyball, and upcoming, one of the things that they wanted is a pool tournament, and there's going to be a women's division as well. So we're really excited to see that. And then most of these activities are offered in English and Spanish. Food distribution, we deal with two different groups. Feeding America, the first Thursday of the month. On average, we have about 20,000 pounds of food that's delivered the day before. Staff has to load or unload and sort it. We're serving about 180 families, and that's about 430 individuals that are being served on a monthly basis. And depending on the month as to what food is available through Feeding America, but there's typically some sort of protein, a chicken, a fish, it's all canned or packaged, so it'll last. I know 1 month they received 5 pounds of shrimp. Usually there's some sort of pasta, some sort of a bean. A lot of times there's peanut butter, there's milk. Try to give as few perishable goods as possible. But there is cheese, there are eggs, there's, and one time they had, what was it they had? I thought was funny. It was unique. I know what it was. They got pasta sauce, but no pasta.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of this comes from the big corporations. They donate through Feeding America, which is a nationwide program that's available. This is not open to just seniors. This is open to anybody over the age of 18. Another program we have is the Orange County Food Bank. That is the last Monday of the month, with this last Monday being a holiday. It's actually going to take place on May 23rd, and they receive box meals or box full of different meals. And we're serving 100 families there, and they receive enough food for about a week. One of the problems we're having, unfortunately, with the Orange County Food Bank is they're still doing a restricted contact because of the pandemic, and it's a drive-through, so they place it in the trunks of the vehicles. We are receiving so many people coming, though, that it is causing traffic issues in the parking lot and backing up onto Mission Boulevard, which is a safety issue. So we're going to be moving this to the Rancho Rupa Regional Sports Park, just because there's a much larger parking lot there, and it'll be safer. That concludes the presentation there on the activities of the Senior Center. Did you have any questions on that before I kind of briefly went over the financials? If you had any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Have we had any information, or have we thought of transportation to the center that we would offer it, or that it is even needed for the seniors?
We do not have anything like that. We'd have to acquire some sort of a bus, and then obviously the proper licenses to operate that. But through DialARide, seniors can get service where they're basically picked up at their home and brought to the center. Some people do come that way. I do not know what that costs anymore. I know it used to be $1. I don't believe with inflation it is anymore. But there's not a regular bus route that comes there. It's something we have had some discussions with the city on into the possibility of it in the future. But it is a costly endeavor to look into. Right now, the DialARide is the best option available. And that information is available at the center for the seniors.
Oh, yeah. If Debbie could look into that just a little bit, in that I did visit and I did hear conversations going on for people waiting for rides and having others that they thought could have come but didn't come. And that's what prompted my question. So if maybe even a survey to those that are attending, if they know of anybody that would have been there, but for the fact that they have no transportation, then we can kind of look at what the cost and all those things that of course need to be looked at. But if we could just establish that we're going to look at that market just to see what it looks like.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just want to also, I shared with the board members a copy of the newsletter. It's a quarterly newsletter that's put out for the Senior Center. One thing the staff over there does do, if you look throughout there, there's a number of different ads in there, different vendors. They all pay a donation to have that in there, and that's what covers the printing of this.
And I want to thank Debbie in that Kim shared with me and that our last request was for it to be in Spanish as well. So as Kim read it, certainly not the Spanish part, but did say it. And so I do want to thank Debbie for doing a good job.
The staff over there is doing a phenomenal job. I can't speak enough about it. Working at the senior center, it takes a special person, and the staff over there are doing a phenomenal job. The seniors really have a great relationship with the staff. The food service is obviously one of the most important things that we offer there. And for many of these seniors, it could be one of the only cooked meals a day that they're receiving. So
Yes,
that's it's very important. And the partnership with the city has been phenomenal, up to date. We've had any problems related to the facility, they're on top of it, making sure that it's fixed and addressed. The city did host a town hall meeting there for Division 4 of the city council meeting a couple of weeks ago. It was very well attended. It was nice to showcase the facility to other members of the community that this is available to them. So that was very exciting. Also in front of you, you have the budget breakdown for the senior center. There is $175,000 a year that the city has earmarked toward reimbursement to the district. To date, this is as of April 30th. We've requested just shy of $130,000 in reimbursements. As you can see there through the expenditures, a good chunk of that is staffing. Obviously the most expensive part of most of our operations here at the district. The special events have been a little slower this year just because of the pandemic. We really did not start offering anything till about February of this year. That's why you can see that those budget expenses are way down because of that. Otherwise than that, I don't want to go through this line item by line item with you unless you have a specific question in regards to it. The utilities were our best guess. When we took this facility over with the city, the budget that was provided to us from FSA was very lump sum round numbers. So we've done the best we can. The utilities are off a little bit still. So we'll have some fine tuning to do with that moving forward. And you guys have seen that as part of our ongoing budget process right now. The only thing we don't control is the water. Majority of that is associated with the landscaping there, which the city contractor handles. They have changed contractors, and staff has noted how much, frankly, greener the grass is and less sloshy. They've really got that under control. It was really being overwatered. So we do anticipate that number actually being a little more under control going forward here with the budget. But all in all, we're still under budget for the year as projected. Our revenue is at 75% of what we anticipated. This is through 3/4 of the year. We're a little higher than anticipated on some of our expenditures, but really we won't have a whole lot of expenditures for the month of June, just kind of the way that our finances work. So we're confident we're going to be right where we need to be at the end of the fiscal year.
Oh, one other item. I visited the center. If we could see that we are meeting the needs in terms of the staff being bilingual, just a review of who we have.
Our staff, at least one staff at all times on staff is bilingual.
Okay. I happen not to see anyone that day, so that's why I'm asking to just see what the ratio is.
Okay. Any other questions?
The Feeding America, you said the loading happens every Monday?
The Feeding America is the one, it comes in on Wednesday morning,
Okay.
and it's an 18-wheeler.
And the staff will also load, is it their staff?
And staff and friends of the NED Smith Senior Center, which was the last thing I want to talk about here. They're the nonprofit group associated with the senior center. They're technically the ones that leads it through Feeding America, because it has to be a nonprofit group. But with partnership with the staff and their volunteers, we unload it. It's unloaded on a lift, and it comes in on pallets, but we do send some of our maintenance staff over to bring it in, and then the volunteers do all the sorting of the foods. And now that the pandemic restrictions have lifted, it's more of a buffet style, that we set everything up, they come in, and we put it in a cart or their bags. When we were still in the pandemic restrictions, staff was physically getting heavy-duty grocery bags and bagging. We get from the list of Feeding America for that month that they got, X cans of soup, so many bags of pasta or whatever it would be. And we would pre-bag them and be 2 or 3 bags worth of food. And we'd have them set up. And then when they came in, we handed them the food, so.
But now they just come.
Now they come in and frankly, it has sped it up a lot. It would take all day to distribute food. Now it only takes a few hours.
I have a question. Could you please remind us what, not that we've had very many events there, but should we have more events there? What our agreement is with the city on any money that comes in from events?
For rentals,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so the first $20,000 in a year would go towards the district to offset our operating costs. And then beyond that, it's a 50-50 split
Okay.
reimbursing the city after our costs. We haven't come nearly close to that obviously this year, primarily because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we're getting a lot of people that are requesting. It's a great size. There's 3 great size rooms there, anywhere from 50 people to about 120. Very reasonably priced, anywhere between $50 to $60 an hour for residents of Jurupa Valley. Includes the tables and chairs. We have a lot of people posting it for bridal showers.
What, right?
What else? Baby showers, retirement parties, things along those lines. So, and just family get-togethers, but a lot of Saturdays and Sunday activities.
And you said you were going to talk about that Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. So I did share with the board of directors. I wanted to share publicly. The staff at the senior center nominated the Friends of the Eddie D. Smith Senior Center through the California Park and Recreation Society, District 11, which is Riverside County. And they were awarded the Community Partner Award last month at the district board, the district award ceremony. So that was very nice to see a local partner with a district, a nonprofit organization at that, be recognized for their efforts there at the senior center.
And they've been around a long time.
They've been there, and they have reopened Eddie's Closet.
Oh, have they?
So Eddie's Closet is the primary fundraiser for the nonprofit there. And think of it as a secondhand thrift store. There's one storage room that they store their stuff in. It is every Tuesday afternoon from 1 to 3. You can go in there and do any of your shopping you may need. And that's the primary fundraiser for the Friends of Eddie D. Smith Senior Center. And those funds, they go back into the center. You know, there'd be supplies that are needed. That's not within our budgets. They paid for some of the sewing machines associated with the quilting classes. As we get back into trips and activities that the seniors want to have, they're going to go to offset the costs. So we bring the price down, the price point down for all the seniors. Busing for events has become extremely expensive the last 10 years. And with our current fuel prices, we can only imagine how much more that has gone up because of that. So their goal is to bring down the price point there.
Anything else?
I believe that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next is general manager's report.
You hear me talk some more, guys, sorry. It's been a busy couple of weeks here at the district. The unfortunate news I have to share with the board is as we are preparing to reopen our splash pads, Glen Avon Heritage is almost ready to go. We have developed a leak on the suction side of the splash pad at Veterans Memorial Park. And it is under concrete on the suction side of the pump. And a 6-inch schedule 80 pipe running lengthwise. So that leads us to believe it was a flaw in the manufacturing of that pipe. So the contractor will be out there tomorrow to begin the work. They're still confident they can have it open prior to Memorial Day weekend. But it is about 6 feet down and it's gonna be a significant amount of work to get it concrete broken up, dig down to it, get it replaced and patched up and back up and running. We did have the contractor out that installed it, had them verify from their as-builts that where we were finding it through the leak detection was in compliance or was in according with the maps they drew up for us for the as-builts, and they did confirm that. So it's not in a T or a valve or a elbow or any type. So that's what leads us to believe it's a crack in the pipe. So not a good thing, but unfortunately these types of things do happen, especially on the suction side of a pump. As Mr. Leja could tell you, there's not a lot of pressure on that. which it's very, very weird that this happened. So, but we said that will be up and running prior to Memorial Day weekend. We did have our skills assessment for youth basketball. Registration is not back to pre-pandemic levels, but it is creeping back up above more than we had in our winter program and more than we had 2 years ago. So we're glad to see that coming forward here. Other than that, the other information I do want to share, and I think it's somewhat fitting with our group of residents here today. I did meet finally with the Santa Ana River Water Company this week, and they are interested, as well as their board, in leasing us the piece of property on Marlette for a long-term development of the park. So that is a start. I want to preface that with, it's still a long process. We have to complete a negotiation of a lease. We have to do environmental documents, which could take up to a year. We have to do the design process, then we have to publicly bid it. So,
But it's coming.
but it's hopefully coming. There's a light, but this is the most movement we have had on this property in over a decade. It's something the district has tried to acquire a number of times. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that this was fitting. Other than that, we are nearing the end of the school year. So we anticipate heavy use of parks during the entire summer. We undoubtedly it's going to be extremely hot this weekend, as we're all aware. Unfortunately, the splash pads are not ready to be open. They are scheduled to be open Memorial Day weekend historically. And that's something that we may, as a board, want to discuss in the future of changing that to earlier in May. But it's going to be a budget issue as well. You know, they are quite costly to operate. It was very hot at the beginning of May, but then this past weekend was raining. So it's one of those things. We do receive a lot of calls from the residents wanting to know if when the splash pads, if they opened early or not. We're trying. Had we not had this broken pipe, we may have had we've been able to Memorial for sure this weekend, but we're gonna have to push it back to next. So other than that, I'm available. Should the board members have any questions?
I guess I have a question in regards to your research on that property. I believe, like anything else, and Kim made that mention, but it's good news, right? However we see it. But I'd like to see that we establish a timeline of something that at least gives us and continues to give us hope, however, wherever we might be with it. So many of us have many things in our life and things can get away from us. So if we can provide that as information, that's what I would be looking for.
And as this item comes forward before the board over the next few months here, I anticipate those will be things that will be established.
Anything else, Mr. DeBoer?
I'm sorry, this May 21st is the Veterans Memorial Wall. I forgot, it's the second time today I forgot about it. I apologize. Everybody's invited, May 21st, Veterans Memorial Park. We do have 4 nominees that will be added to the wall this year. And as we're all aware, the first nominee who was actually lost his life during World War I. Actually, thanks to the research of Ms. Johnson, she found that's the only known casualty of World War I from what is now Harupa Valley. So that will be a very unique thing, as well as 3 other nominees that have all lived here within the district for a number of years, and a very suiting nomination for those individuals.
Thank you. So now it's board comments. I'll start with Mr. Castellon.
Thank you for the report on the Smith Senior Center and the updates you provided for the district. Again, thank you all who came to a comment to share your concerns and a vision for what you wish for Mira Loma, as we're all trying to have a better vision for that area and for the whole city as well. Yeah, you proposed some concrete requests. So I hope to keep those conversations going with you guys and with staff as well. And that's it.
Mr. Leja?
Yeah, thank you for the updated report on Andy Smith. I'm glad to see that it's progressing really nice. Glad glad to hear that there is actually some land that we may finally get some movement on. We all know land acquisition is always the hardest part of anything. And again, thank everybody for coming. Always appreciate the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Byrne?
Yes, there's much to say, so I'll try to condense it. I did want to make mention that we did listen, as you heard, and I think the phrase that was used is, "Who is my voice?" As you now see, we make our roll call with a division that represents you. Although we work collectively, it is always not better or wiser, but just a good thing to go directly to that person that represents you. And then we can gather as we have. The reaction is one that we all want it to be, and that is to be as immediate as possible. And as I made mention already, timelines are important. They're important in my life. I don't have them. I don't know where I'm at. So even as you've made your request, that is the first thing that comes to mind. And Ms. Johnson, we mentioned right away, we want to get happy about it and we want to stay happy about it. We also want to be on top of it. So again, thank you for that. That's what I have to say tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes, I just want to echo what my fellow board members have said. Thank you for the update on the senior center. I know our market nights lately have been, a little windy. So hopefully next week our market night goes well. I encourage you all to come out and visit. And I thank you guys, and I encourage you guys to keep participating. You guys are the reason we're here, and hopefully we can, make your voices come to fruition, your dreams come to fruition. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say I'm so excited that literally years of intermittent reaching out to the Santa Ana River Water Company and not hearing from them, that we've finally made that connection about that piece of property. Because anytime anybody brings up having a park in that portion of Mariloma, they bring up that piece of property. And we're like, we've tried, but so finally, I'm really excited that the general manager was so open to having that discussion. And I'm really excited that we might be able to partner with their board to make that happen. I'm also very excited about the memorial wall. Another person that's going on the memorial wall is Robert Griggs. Robert Griggs. I happen to know his widow. She lives on Bain Street. And, he was originally proposed to go on the wall at the beginning of 2020, and then we all know what happened in 2020. And so she has been patiently waiting for 2 years after he was approved to go on the wall for him to go on the wall. So I'm very excited that we're going to finally make that happen for her, as well as Claude Briggs from World War I and the other two gentlemen, Mr. McGee and
Humphreys.
And Mr. Humphreys, that are going to go on the wall. So I'm very excited about that. And May 21st, 10 a.m. at Veterans Memorial. Please feel free to come. It's always a wonderful ceremony. You will be moved. David Barnes always gets up and talks about the men who are going to go on the wall. And
women.
And women, the men this year, the men and women who go on the wall. And we also read the names of everyone who's already on the wall. And so it's a very moving event. And I encourage all of you to come. And 10 a.m. on the 21st.
Thank you for that. May I add something to that? Mr. Edgar Castellano and myself are on the committee.
Madam President, we do have a update from the memorial wall.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
Oh, that you gave?
It's next.
Oh, it's next. Oh, I don't want to take your thunder.
That's your thunder.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make mention that we are going to work harder in giving time. We're not going to wait till the last 2 to 3 months to get any nominees. I think that's the best thing. It's a hard thing to do. It's a lot of information to gather. So we really do want to have the public know well in advance so that they can search out. I mean, you'll be doing the searching for us. You'll be doing the nominating for us. We'll be looking at it. So we need to give you time and ourselves time. So we're really going to work hard at getting that accomplished. So know that is your legacy, as you all have spoken tonight, that you've been here many years, your family, your children, your grandparents and the like. So again, that is what we will look for in the future, to look at that wall and see those family members that in fact lived here and gave to our country. So again, you'll be seeing that.
And gave to our community. That's the
Yes.
criteria.
Yeah,
Country and community.
yes,
Yeah, a
exactly.
veteran who also did things in the community.
Yeah, and the application will tell you, but again, we are here to assist you in that. We just want to give you enough time to get that name into us. So thank you.
Committee reports?
I'm gonna speak out of order, but can a board?
Oh, I'm sorry, you cannot speak out. I'm sorry, we can't have you do that. I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Yes, this is not an agendized item.
And I said I'm speaking out of order, but can a board member comment on the use of AB 1600 funds for Parks and Rec?
No, I'm sorry, it's not on the agenda. And as you know, under the Grant Act, we can't comment on things that aren't on the agenda. I know you know that. Okay, Mr. DeWitt on the committee reports?
Yes, we will start with the Recreation Special Events Committee of May 2nd, actually May 2nd and May 9th. We discussed a potential partnership with UCR as well as some upcoming events, and I hand that over to the committee members. Do they want to comment any further beyond that?
Yeah, so, we're in discussions currently with the Center of Latino Latin American Studies at Center at UCR to establish a center here, so we're still in the hashing out the details. Hopefully something good can come from it to serve the community. It's really focused on Mariloma, but also we want to service all of Harupa Valley, so hopefully good things can come from it. We also were planning a event next month called Viva la Fiesta. Unfortunately, we had a couple of staff members who are leaving us, who are spearheading it. So we have to postpone till next year. So we're looking forward to that event next year.
Is that for both of them? That was the.
That was both, yeah, just a summary of both of them.
And was there anything more on the memorial wall?
Oh, well, as I stated, that is one thing I would like to implement, that we give enough notice to the community to put in their nominees. We haven't quite done that in the past, and what I've learned through the process that we have gone through, Edgar and I, is it does take a lot of work to gather all this information, and but I would like to pass it out to the community and have them come to me, to the community, the committee, and that's really what I propose that we are going to do differently. We're thinking about a lot of things about that wall, and as I read it and stood before it, I felt gee, these are people that lived here. These are people that our children can come up to this wall and read. So I have another 2 years to serve, and I want to serve it as best I can. So please get involved. Please do the nominees early on. But there was nothing else, Edgar, that we went to. Don't I think that's it.
I just wanted to add for the boards, as you're aware, we've had experienced some vandalism there this year at the wall itself. And the replacement plaques are going to be installed this next week.
Oh, good. Okay, future committee meetings. I see we have a budget and personnel committee, May 16th at 4:30, and community trails and arenas, June 8th at 6 p.m. And that's going to be at Larimore Park. Any agenda items from the board for future board meetings? No? Okay. And our next board meeting.
Madam President, if I could suggest, based on the comments received tonight, perhaps it's good that a good time that we review and do another workshop in regards to park development standards and practices and our fee structure as an educational process on how fees are collected and what they can and cannot be used for. That may be something that we can do this coming months.
Would that include AB 1600?
Correct.
Okay.
It was something that we put
Fantastic.
together about 2 years ago, and it'd be probably a good time for a refresher. It's a great educational process for our residents as well, because as you all know, where some of those funds are restricted.
Mhm.
So
Excuse me, if I can get a little clarification to that. So are you saying that we will attend this workshop?
I know we do a workshop as part of one of our upcoming board
Right,
meetings.
I understand that. And that later can be shared I guess I'm trying to answer the gentleman's question, even though that what you said is true, but is there any way we can give an answer to that?
We can
That's
stop
your
after the
answer.
meeting.
I think that's your answer. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's part of, that will help provide the whole,
Because then it will be public.
correct.
Right, and
Okay,
they
well,
can
that's,
come to the meeting,
well,
watch the meeting.
again,
see the
people
meeting later.
don't know that, so that is why I'm
Yeah.
asking it, sitting here, so that they can hear it directly from you, probably.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be great. Okay, so our next meeting is May 26th, 6:30 here at the boardroom. And what time is it? 6:32. 7:32. 7:32, sorry. So, and we'll adjourn this meeting at 7:32. And thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate it.